work, you feel like you're actually doing something, important, like you're working on actual cases, versus at school that you're reading a textbook.
Maribel Sanchez is a past fellow of the San Francisco Trial Lawyers Association's Diversity Fellowship Program. Che Hashim and Audrey Siegel are co-chairs.
So the fellowship offers law students who have completed their second year the opportunity to intern and rotate through 3 mentor firms, 3 placements of our members. And each placement is likely to have a slightly different subject matter. It may have a different office composition, meaning you might be with a solo attorney one rotation and with a slightly larger firm on a different rotation. And we do try to match the students' interests with the practitioner's practice area.
Besides, learning different areas of law, I got a lot of hands-on experience, and I got to do a lot more than just, your standard research projects. I got to work on actual cases, and that included sitting in on depositions, working on discovery, and drafting mediation briefs and other motions. So it was really a great experience overall.
The fellowship replicates real-life work experiences, which helped Maribel decide what area of the law she wanted to practice.
I was working, on actual cases, and I actually ended up in an area of law that's identical to one of the firms that I was working at.
Well, I think when you're in law school and you're studying torts or contracts, you don't necessarily have an understanding of the full breadth of different practice areas. And so, we represent employees that are the victims of discrimination, harassment, and retaliation and wage and hour violations. We also represent people who are the victims of civil rights abuses by police. And we represent people who are the victims of auto crashes and people who are the victims of products liability issues. And so there really is so many different subject matters that come into play in the plaintiff's bar, and we really want students to have the experience of understanding the sort of full breadth of the work that we do so that they can determine what they're really interested in.
Fellows are paid a stipend for their 3-month fellowship work.
We attempt to be sort of competitive with what other sort of entities are paying students so that they can live and work and sustain themselves over the summer. Universally, we've heard from the fellows that it was just an incredible experience. And a lot of internship or externship opportunities present you with the ability to develop a writing sample, the ability to have some contact with attorneys and some supervision. But I think what makes this really special is that we're really geared towards ensuring that the fellows have the opportunity to sit next to the attorney, to hear the attorney speak with people. What I found really hard coming into practice was, how do I speak with my client? How do I speak with an expert? How do I address a mediator? How do I speak to the judge? How do I speak to other attorneys about my cases? And so it's that sort of conversational aspect of the legal practice that I think is really sort of behind the curtain. And we really are trying to get law students to have that experience and become more confident in the way that they articulate what their case is about, understand tone and and the vocabulary of law in a way that is, I think, really helpful to their advancement in their understanding of how to practice.
And it's that confidence in communication that helps fellows learn and contribute to real cases.
So I actually worked with Demian Oxenendler doing insurance litigation, and insurance is like one of the most difficult areas of law I've ever learned. And I was, he had me doing a research project to kind of help him with his case, and I actually ended up finding something that he was able to use, and it helped his case from what he tells me. So, yeah, pretty happy about that.
Past mentor firms include some of the most prestigious law firms in the Bay Area. Every firm works with the fellows to help them understand a different area of the law.
So the application process is a relatively simple resume, cover letter, and then we score those applications and then offer interviews. What we're looking for really are people who are dedicated to representing individuals. That's what we do, and that is what sort of defines us and distinguishes us from lots of other practice areas. So, people who come into law school wanting to be oral advocates for people who are aggrieved or injured is really what we're looking for in terms of what a person's passion is.
It was an amazing experience, not just, to meet the attorneys and, work at the firms, but it's how I got my job, my current job. I got to go to a lot of amazing networking events, and overall I would highly recommend, being a fellow.